and sold all the way into the 4-hour trend. Sold all the way into the 4-hour trend. However, my bias is still very much to the downside on AUD/USD. In as much as it has achieved our first target, I still think there's more downside liquidity for AUD/USD to go on top, right? So where do I think AUD/USD is going to sell into? Let's look at the 1-hour time frame. I see AUD/USD selling all the way into this level. You see this, let's adjust that a bit. So the first area we're looking at AUD/USD selling and stopping at is here, exactly this point where we could now have this resistance become a probable support, right? And from where price currently is to where we see AUD/USD selling, that's our first TP on the higher time frames. It's most likely here, which is about 18 pips away. If it breaks below this level, the next level that I see AU breaking below is all the way here. All the way here. So take note of these levels. First one being 0.65489 and the second one being 0.65114. Right? The bearish bias is still very much in play for me. We'll go down to the 5-minute time frame now to see what price is currently doing. Let's take a quick look at that, shall we? Just going to zoom out so we have full picture of what 5-minute time frame looks like. Marking out first our yesterday's high and the second one our yesterday's low. Do you see how perfectly price went to retest the before yesterday's low before it continued selling? These are the areas that help me know what levels are going to hold on time frames like this for my entry before I now go for specific entries on the lower time frames. All right. Okay. And then the final level we're marking out is the 5-minute yesterday's low. We have all of these levels now. Price came, broke below, went back to retest before yesterday's low, and we see it currently selling. The first resistance point for this sell is going to be here, because price is definitely going to find support at yesterday's low, right? Now we're going to now watch if price gets here, is it going to retrace and then continue selling back? I think it's very likely that it will do that. And if it breaks above this level, it's coming for the trend. The trend which happens to be yesterday's high, it will buy back into the trend and then the sell will continue. And then the sell will continue, right? Let's look at the 1-minute time frame and see where we could have entered the sell from. This would have been our entry point. The moment price broke below and went back to retrace into our Keltner channels, this is exactly where I would have entered this AUD/USD sell from. But for now, I could just keep watching for price to trade back into this trend and then continue selling. Trade back all the way into this trend, come back here. I see my pullback as well, which basically serves as a magnet. So if price comes here, I will most likely be selling AUD/USD to the downside, right? Same thing on the NZD/USD weekly time frame as well. This one is even more clear than AU. Trend is clearly to the downside. 4-hour time frame, what do we see? To the downside as well. So where is NZD/USD sell most likely going to sell into? Let's zoom in and find out. So the first one is going to be here. It's going to take out all of this that we see right here. Most likely going to trade all the way below, take out this level as well, and then stop right here. Right? So you see that we still have a lot more levels for NZD/USD to go into. However, look at the 4-hour resistance level which we have here, which is what is currently serving as a support. You see, right? So I expect NU to buy back a little bit and then drop. My bias is still to the downside for NZD/USD. Let's see what 1 hour is doing. So 1 hour, our sunshine is here, it's still going down. Still going down aggressively. It's going to come back into this trend, move back, because that's what the market does. It doesn't just go in a straight line. It does all of the lower lows and lower highs. So it's going to come here, retrace back. The first target we're seeing for NZD/USD is right here. I hope you take note of all these levels that we mark. You can see it clearly written by the left here, 0.59450. Take note of them. So NZUSD sell all the way into our first target, which is right here. And then the second target, which is below all of these trend line liquidity that we see here, which just happens to coincide with our pullback indicator, right? So mark it out as well. 0.59054 is now our second TP for the NZUSD sell. So as usual, we go straight to 5 minutes. Zoom out, period separator. So we have our days separated for us using these lines. And then mark out our levels of interest. First one being day before yesterday's high. And the second one, day before yesterday's low. Third point of interest is now yesterday's high. And the fourth point, yesterday's low, right? So we have all of this marked out. What is NZUSD currently doing? NZUSD is currently going back to test day before yesterday's low. Let's zoom out and see. Yeah, going back to test day before yesterday's low. If it comes back here and we see break of structures on the 1 minute to the downside with specific entry patterns formed, our first TP for NZUSD sell is going to be here. However, it's a bit tight. It's about 17 pips. 17 pips that we're looking at on 5 minutes. But for paying attention to our 1 hour point of interest for the sell to sell into, it's right here. So for where price currently is to the 1 hour target is all the way from here to here, which is over 40 pips, which makes taking this trade worth it, right? So yeah, that is for NZUSD. Target is still to the downside. We've listed out areas we see NZUSD selling all the way into, so please take note of that. USD CAD as well. So this guy has been bullish for a while. But if you remember during on Tuesday's analysis, we had said USD CAD was going to sell all the way into the first area being our momentum, and then the second area being our trend, right? Now you see that USD CAD did sell. We went back all here, but it didn't really tap into my momentum area. So I still see a bit more downside for USD CAD as well before the bullish move is resumed. Still see USD CAD selling back into here first. If it finds support and keeps buying, fine. If not, it's coming all the way into the trend, and then the higher time frame trend that we see is going to resume. Going to resume fully. So let's mark out our point of interest. By now, you should be familiar with these levels that I mark out. I'm just joining the chat. I assume you already understand because we've done this a couple of times. It's it's a repetitive process. Nothing is added, nothing is changed. We're literally doing the same thing every time, right? And taking advantage of what the market is doing. So you see that price has now tested day before yesterday's high for USD CAD. So USD CAD is going to sell. It's going to sell from where it currently is all the way into the first resistance point being here. But this is not going to hold it for long. It's then going to sell into the trend. Now, because of how powerful our trend is, we might see a bit of reaction to the upside, right? We might see a bit more reaction to the upside. However, I still believe that USD CAD is going to sell back all the way into our 1 hour momentum, which is here, and most likely break below to come all the way into the trend. So you see how the 5 minutes level which we marked out is in confluence with what we marked out on the 1 hour time frame. This is where we said we were seeing USD CAD selling into, and it just happens to be our 5 minutes before yesterday's low, right? So yeah, I still see USD CAD selling all the way into this level. However, this week we have today specifically, let's confirm that, shall we? Let's confirm that. I think we have a number of high impact news coming out in this market. So I'm just going to quickly look at that. It's always important that you take note of what news are coming out, fundamentals, because they can just come and shake the market up. So today is Thursday. What do we have? Okay, so we have one coming out on Canadian dollar. We have one on the USD, There's a bunch of others, mostly on pounds. So I'm just looking at the one that affects commodity currencies. The ones that affect commodity currencies, which is just the one on CAD, and then another one on USD. There are like 2-3 USD news coming out. Okay, I'm looking at Friday. So let's count, shall we? 1, 2, 3. We have 3 high impact news that might affect the commodity currency pairs. So it's advisable that you trade with caution today, because as you can see, reds, when you see reds, you have to be careful. And I really hope that the sell which we did on Tuesday, we highlighted it during the London session, we highlighted it as well during the New York session. And during the New York session, we were so close to entries. And I remember stating that everybody should go check out, they see their specific entry patterns, they should take the trade, right? I hope you did that, you took advantage of that. I think I asked in the market color group yesterday, and somebody did take advantage of the sell, made a few dollars from it, which is great. I also like to state that it's important that you share your markups with us in the market color group. After our analysis, we point out something playing out and you take the trade, let us know. Please let us know, right? So that we know that we're actually doing this together. We're not just coming here to talk for talking sake. The goal is to help you. Now, that's basically it for today's analysis on commodity currencies. AUD/USD is to the downside, NZD/USD is still to the downside, and USD CAD still has a bit more bearish move to do before it resumes its bullishness, right? And I marked out levels you should be looking at. So basically everything has been stated. Now we're going to be watching and seeing what the market does. I'm going to be very careful trading today because I already listed out those news that we have coming out. So I'm going to be careful trading these particular pairs today. I might check out other currency pairs and see what they are doing, and if I see entries, I take them. But on these ones, I'll be careful. However, my bias still remains the same. All right. Let me know if you have any questions based off what we just discussed now. If you have questions, do you have additions? Let me know. While you're typing, just a reminder that we have our events coming up in Abuja, ending of the month. Full training events. We're not coming to give you inspirational quotes without showing you the blueprint that you can follow. No, we're coming to give you a step-wise approach. The way we trade on the floor as professional traders, we're coming to show it to you as well. So you should be there. Tell a friend who is interested in Forex to be there. I promise you, I can confidently say it will be worth your time. Thank you, Emmanuel, for this feedback. Thank you. I just closed out my NZD/USD chats. But yeah, it's good to see that you're keeping up with the analysis that we do and seeing that they are playing out, right? Okay, so without wasting too much time, I'm going to call on my colleague to come take us through some indices pairs. US 30, NAS 100. Your time is going to be taking us along that. Thank you, Emmanuel, for flyer has been dropped in the chat feedback. Thank you. I just closed out my NZD/USD chat. And it's advisable. Oh yeah, it's good to see that you're keeping up with analysis. 2 different sessions, and then the one in the middle is a right session. Okay, so without wasting too much time, I'm going to call on my colleague to take advantage of that. Come take us through. It won't be very expensive. Some indices pairs range of US 30, naira. So you can start preparing that so that you can have a one-on-one with Mr. Ejimi and ask all the questions you've been longing to ask. Okay, thank you for joining this part of today's analysis. We're going to go on a very short break, and then my colleague Demola is going to come on and continue the rest of today's analysis. Cheers.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, everybody. Within today, so we'll be going straight into the charts for indices. And by indices, I mean the US 30, NAS 100, and also S&P 500. You've seen quickly what the market is doing. Seeing quickly what the market is doing for us this morning. I believe you can see my screen now. I believe you can all see my screen. So we had our markups on US 30, that was on Tuesday, where we were discussing some possible trade setup in the market. Even drew out a 15-minute markup for a buy, which fortunately price didn't come back to that level before it moved to other level. However, for our sell setup, we are seeing something very interesting happen now on US 30, right? That is forming a bias for the sell. We are seeing price trying to fill this imbalance. If we remember, that was last week, price was still around here, kind of. This candle has not yet even closed. We're saying we're anticipating price to come fill at least 50% of this imbalance, this FVG, fair value gap here, or even the entire fair value gap around this level. Let me draw it out. So we expected that to happen, and it's happening currently as we speak. So we are seeing price tap into this level, right? I'm expecting price to fill at least 50% of this imbalance, this inefficiency in price. Let me measure the 50% of it. Okay. The two to mark it out. 50% is this level here. Okay, so I'm expecting price to tap into this level, and then we have ought to see a reaction, some sort of reaction from this level, right? However, we have to also be reminded that the overall down bias is still a buy, but I'm expecting a bit more retracement from this entire swing, at least a 50% retracement to this level from this entire buy move that's moved. The first retracement we saw was on 23.6 level, which is not quite solid as a fib level, right? But I'm looking at least something interesting should happen between excuse me 38.20 or 50.00 levels. So apparently I'm looking for 50.00 level, a retracement into that region before we now continue to the upside. So I'm expecting price to tap into 50% of this inefficiency in price and then begin to tank to the downside, right? So like I said, on Tuesday, we have some areas that we marked out. Fortunately, trading view has been clean our markups for a while now. So so what am I expecting? I'm expecting price to tap into this entire region, right? This is the 50% of the FVG, inefficiency in price. In price, we have another block just right above here, right? We have another block, this level. That's another block there. Price might sincerely want to tap in, and then from there we see a tank to the downside, right? How am I even selling from here? Because of the sweep, so price swept this last high, price swept through the last high, and then we saw a sharp drop to the downside, give us a structural liquidity, which followed also by a sharp drop, another break of structure to the downside. So what am I expecting price to do? I'm expecting price to tap into this level here. Once we go into the lower time frame, say the M15 or M10, we're going to get more refined entry. But for now, we can even go with this, right? However, if the SA is quite large, say 150 or thereabout, 150 pips thereabout, which I'm not willing to take on this trade. When you go down to the M15, M30, there are better, much better entries from there. There are other refined entry we can use to enter this market. So I've seen my sweep of liquidity and then a sharp drop to the downside, another structural liquidity being created, and then a run of that previous liquidity, right? So I'm waiting for price to tap into number one, 50% of the weekly FVG inefficiency in price, and then just a little tap above that 50% into this other block, and then we begin to see the tank to the downside that we're expecting. The tank is not for a long term. We know that what we're expecting is that price will ultimately rally down to say 38.20 level. That's like the first modest level we can achieve, we can target, and then ultimately the 50.00 level, which is serves like an equilibrium, right? Because price does not just move in one direction. After that momentum, we see a retracement, momentum, retracement. That's what makes the market move the way it is. So that is what I'm looking at for today. For 15 minutes intraday trade, there's nothing specific on intraday trade. What I should have taken this, I missed this entire move, this one. We're expecting price to come clear this liquidity, the structural liquidity, but sometimes price just don't clear it before it moved. It tapped on 1 hour order block. Yes, tapped on that 1 hour order block and then saw the bounce off, right? Just a bounce on that other block and then price begin to rally to the upside, which is quite usual with US30 and US30 and NAS. They respect other blocks very well, right? If you can learn to understand how other blocks are formed and which one will be respected, it's a good one. However, sometimes they do violate it also, violently self. So this is what I'm looking at for US30 as of today. We're looking for a sell, right? However, we don't just want to sell randomly. We want price to come above this 50% on the weekly time frame for the FVG and then tap into our region or our other block level, and then look for a better entry on M30, on M15. Spotted some good entry on M30, but then okay, have this other block sitting pretty at the top, though price have tested it. I've tested it once. Can see another test into it and then see a sharp drop to the downside. But for now, we're just waiting for how price is going to move and react. But today, there's no much news on USD to fuel this movement today, except for New York market open. That's by 2:30. And then okay, unemployment claim also. All right. We hope to see what this will do to the markets. If it provides enough volatility in the market, then we are good to go. So that is all we are seeing on US30. Let's go to NAS 100. Almost the same setup on NAS 100. Remember, we said we have a lot of volume imbalance here, right? And then also this guy. So our former analysis was based on structure and liquidity. Set price run through this previous liquidity, and then what happened? We saw a sharp drop. However, before this drop broke structure, give us a structural liquidity here, meaning it served as an inducement. If price for any reason should come to that place, which is going to come, right? It's going to lure price to that place, clear structural liquidity or the liquidity money hanging above here, clear it, and then tap into this region of double FVG, right? Both sides on left and right. So we are expecting a tank from this region, this entire region here. Expecting a tank from this entire region. However, I'm having a concern because if you check, we are now having something like a diagonal liquidity sweep. A diagonal liquidity, which price might come up to kind of sweep again. So that's one major area of concern I'm having for this NAS 100. That's one major area of concern, right? But then if we look at it again, it seems the sweep has happened. This guy, it has happened already. right? Price swept through this guy here. So probably the sweep will happen. We want price to tap into this guy. And then this is our area of structural liquidity. We serve as fuel and attract price to that level. If we see this happen, then want to see price clear this structural liquidity, tap into this area of fair value gap, and then we see a tank from there. We see a tank from there. So all of this trade is just the basic framework for the sell buyers I'm having for specific entries into this market. I'm going to go to lower time frame to use my own specific mode of entry to take this trade. Let me look. The way the setup is like this, see, is already 150 pips SL, which is quite large, right? It's quite large. 1 to 3, quite, wow, interesting. And so, but I won't be able to, I won't just take this trade like this on 1:3 with 150 pips SL. No, I'm going to go down to lower time frame to get better entry, look for better place to enter the market from. And if you like to know those specific areas, we have a special group, a VIP group, where we drop our specific entry and exit in the market, right? If you want to join, the instruction is in the chat box. It's just 3 step, very easy, very seamless. All you have to do is to register with a preferred broker. The link is already in the chat box, I believe. It's already in the chat box, is already there. Then fund your account is a minimum of say 500, 2,000, 3,000, as high as possible, and then send a proof of that funding to our Telegram group. Also, the link to get access to us on Telegram is also below in the chat box. Just do that, and then somebody from the team is going to add you to the group. You can begin to copy our trade, right? Everybody on the team. So that'll be all for today, guys. If you have any question, you can ask in the chat box. You can ask a question in the chat box. If you have any question as regards the analysis that's been made so far, you can ask your question in the chat box. And also, I like to bring to our notice to inform us, you've been shouting it. I like to also you shout it yourself, announce to as many as possible. We're coming to Abuja, coming to Abuja Live, be hosting the event on the 30th and the 31st of May, right? May 2024. I want you to clear your schedule. If you have to book for a leave and request for a leave for those 2 days, please, you want to do that. It's an investment into your future, into your financial education, right? So you want to do that. Make sure you invite everybody. Make sure you avail yourself. It's on the 30th and the 31st of May, coming Traders Bootcamp. No long story. We are coming to teach how it is, right? Forex and even everything around the industry, everything you need to succeed around the industry, right? Those interested in the training part of it, those interested in the the bot part of it, you don't have time, 9 to 5 person, you don't have time, but you want to still make money from this industry. We also made a session for automated trading, people that can leverage on bots, leverage on good bots that will manage your money and then give you interesting returns, right? There's a session for that. There's a session for everything and anything financial market, especially Forex trading in that bootcamp. So you want to do well to be around. Yeah, that's true, Mr. Kelly. You want to do well to be around for that event. You want to make sure you want to be around. Invite as many people as possible. And it's absolutely free. It's not free because nobody has paid for it. It's free because we want to allow everybody come in, right? We want to allow everybody as much as possible, empower as many as possible, thousands, 10,000. All you can do is to just avail yourself, come and be ready to learn, be prepared to learn, right? Be prepared to learn. It's going to be an interesting time in Abuja. It's going to be an interesting time in Abuja. Good morning, sir. I think boss is around this morning. Boss is available. Mr. Kelly, you said, I see a sweep and IUF. Of course, yes. Interesting.
Good morning. Demola, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Great analysis on NAS. Did you apply correlation to it? Did you check correlated assets?
Oh, no, not yet, sir.
Okay. I'm just saying. like the VIX, like S&P 500, other correlated assets. But I think I also agree.
US 30 and us.
Yes, I think I agree with you that we have a buildup of bearish sentiment in the equities markets generally. This markup is perfect. I don't have any problem with the markup. It's fantastic. And when that trade finally ripens, it will have very, very good, very impressive risk to reward ratio. So fantastic markup. Great markup. If you even look at check Australian equity index, ASX 200 or AUS 200, right? For the ASX. You can check that. AUS 200. AUS 200. That's it there. The Australian index. Yes, that's it there. For the Australian stock market, we have NAS 100 tech companies in the US. You also have AUS 200. Have you done that?
Yep.
No, that's okay, exactly. You see what has happened.
Yeah.
Australia, they are already in their afternoon now. They are ahead now.
Yes.
Their own exchange is open. You can see the exact markup, right?
Yes. First thing.
Exactly. Yes. That's what I'm saying. Did you check the correlated assets? Did you check the correlated assets? So this is like a front. You are front running the trade because Australia is open, but in the US they are still sleeping till 2:30. So you can see the exact same markup, right?
Yes.
See the shoulder, see the sweep, the return, exactly, and it has broken its own low. Check it on the daily. You can see.
Yeah.
If it closes below that low, that's a clear variation. That's a morning star.
Yes.
Stopper shocker, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So I just did that to just say that sometimes you can use the Asian equity indexes because their own session is already open to know what will happen in the global equities market. You can also check FinVis. FinVis futures to see what the overall sentiment. FinVis futures, not the forex performance now, the futures. That's it down there. Yes. That's it down there. You get my point?
Yes.
Exactly. Okay, so futures, ethanol, crude oil, sugar. So commodities are bullish, obviously.
Yes.
Commodities are bullish. Energy commodities, agricultural commodities are bullish. Let's check down.
Their index is up. VIX.
VIX is up, exactly. So what does that tell you? There's fear.
Yeah.
Exactly. So those are two confirmations. I just showed you how to confirm using correlated assets. All right. So I don't think I have so much to say today. Does anybody understand what just happened? If you are lost, tell us. So you understand? Tell us. Who is lost?
I'm lost around this
Gabriel,
area.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sir, please, I'm lost. If you don't trade equity indexes, you might see bullishness in the equities because earnings were great, companies returned profits despite rate cuts remaining the same. But if we're seeing bullishness, why are we seeing VIX fear index increasing? Why are we seeing Australian markets that are already open not selling? Sorry, not buying. They are selling. Okay. In fact, that's for all the Asian indexes. So, anyways, but you can be right because now it has tapped into a fair value zone, into a flip zone. So yes, it may just find support there and rally. So that's a possibility too, right? And of course, if it rallies and America is rallying, everything will rally to the upside. So guys, basically understand the asset you are trading. This is an equity index. NAS is an equity index, NAS 100. It literally means the 100 biggest technology stocks in America, right? It's for companies. It's an index of companies in the technology space. And it is used to measure sentiment. We use it to measure sentiment in the tech space. Some of you have heard of FANG. It's a got one new bullet for NAS 100 or 200 for correlation. Not just correlation, for front running. Front running. It's already afternoon in Australia, but they are sleeping in America. So if the 200 biggest companies in Australia are doing badly, then the 100 biggest tech companies in US, when they wake up, they may do badly also. That's the basic logic. So understand the asset class you are trading. Understand the architecture behind it. Understand correlated assets. What's the nature of their correlation? Does it make logical sense to you? And once you understand that logic, see if you can turn it into a trading edge. All right? That's basically what we're trying to establish here. Okay? So, yeah, that's basically it. Another correlated asset for NAS is FANG. FANG. How many of you know what FANG is? F-A-N-G. Some people have changed it to FANG-T. 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 Magnificent Seven. We already know I told you Sheyi, hold Sheyi. Sheyi trades Nigerian stocks, so Nigerian stock market, hold him. He's just humble. So FANG-T, Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google, Tesla. Technology stocks. You can also see their performance, right? So let's see that. You can Google, let's see Alibaba, for example, because that's in Asia. Alibaba. Nvidia too, yeah. No, but Alibaba. Okay, so let's see their performance. That's it there. No. I just mentioned the Nvidia too as part of the big boys.
Okay.
It's not that I'm saying you should leave Alibaba. Remember, we're checking Asia because Asia is alive and well. So zoom in, see what's happening. This thing I'm showing you is a full equities trading class. Do you see the chart?
Yeah.
Do you see the fair value gap? Do you see the graph of liquidity? Similar. So you can now check Nvidia. Nvidia. Click on their stock. You can see it's quoted on NASDAQ. It's part of the NASDAQ 100. So Nvidia, let's see what that looks like. Okay. Do you see? Can you see what we're seeing on Nvidia?
Yeah.
Why Nvidia? Nvidia has been on a fantastic bull run. But now it's obviously stalling. Can you see box pattern?
Yeah.
Does this make sense? Do you see how it has been extremely bullish? But then it started to stall. So understand correlated assets and see how you can use them to confirm one another. All right, over to you, Demola. I think that is, if you don't understand what we said today, there's no need to understand it. The only reason why I talked about it is because Demola is trading NASDAQ. And I just said, okay, let me ask if we understand that. Yeah? Don't come for anything, my brother. What we have is enough. You already have enough. We are looking for how to turn knowledge to money, not get more knowledge. Nothing is more frustrating than knowing so much and not being able to turn that wealth of knowledge into wealth of withdrawals. All right. So, Sashay, it's been our call for your training for local stocks. Thank you so much. So, over to you. I'm thinking that risk wants to go off. I truly am thinking that. That risk wants to go off. That's what I'm thinking. If VIX fear index continues to rally, QQQ, SSS, we may see a little bit of a pullback. All right. So over to you guys. Thank you very much. God bless. Any question for me?
No questions.
No question. All right then. God bless.
Except if you want to comment on the event, sir. All right. Mr. Shea said about GBP, sir. Probably that will be tomorrow. We're going to analyze GBP tomorrow.
Okay, to analyze the pound.
Yes.
Let's quickly call it up now. And there's news today. Let's quickly look at it very quickly. Even though you're not active on that, but we can still look at it. GBP USD.
Okay, it's on daily.
Is clearly bearish. Clearly bearish. There's a fair value gap that was formed between day before yesterday till now with diagonal liquidity. That's the fair value gap. That's the diagonal liquidity. And check it out on the 4-hour. But remember, we said dollar wants to strengthen across board. Dollar wants to strengthen across board. So that's a shoulder. It's coming down now for a break. It comes down now for a break inside that same range that we have seen. That's a shoulder. So this will now be a break of structure to the downside. Where are the places it can pull back to? There's a fair value gap at 12530. So even if there's news, high impact news, where can the news go? It will go to grab previous liquidity. Where is the previous liquidity? There, exactly. That's the fair value gap. So that's where price can spike into, because there has not been any inducement.
Okay.
There has not been any grab of liquidity. So if there's a news, it can spike into that. So see that flip zone, you can draw another rectangle there for a flip zone, and draw another rectangle there for a flip zone where previous support became resistance. Previous support, exactly. Exactly. It's even an IOFED. So take it up. All the way up. It's an IOFED now. Fair value gap on the left, exactly. Fair value gap on the right. So that's where price can tap into. Just before that, you already see that it has grabbed liquidity after that variation. Zoom in a bit. Exactly. So that new fair value gap you just drew, the break of structure that led to that fair value gap to the downside.
Okay.
That fair value gap that you just drew now. Exactly. Yes. Look at the origin of that fair value gap. Not the IOFED now, the red one, the red fair value gap.
All right.
Exactly. Now, where it started from, the move that started it.
Okay, this break of structure.
Not even that. The one that exactly candle number 1, candle number 2, candle number 3 that formed the fair value gap. Look at candle number 1, the origin. Exactly. Now there was a grab of liquidity. Now that's an inducement.
Yes.
Before it, there's a small fair value gap. It formed variation twin tower resistance, equal red and equal green. Abi?
Yes.
Some people call that possible base. Some people call that variation. After it formed that equal whatever, what did it now do? It now went and grabbed that liquidity to the upside, sweep, then broke to the downside. So liquidity has been grabbed. The only place that liquidity hasn't been grabbed is the current fair value gap. So if news comes out, we don't expect it to touch where liquidity has already been grabbed. There's no liquidity there. Is that new level, that flip zone, so 1.2535, 1.2540 level, that's where price can go. So you can put your sell limit there at 1.25. Maybe we'll just do 50% consequent encroachment. 50% of the fair value gap. I will put it above. I will put it above. My stop will be the shoulder. That inducement. Well, that's too much. Right above the shoulder.
Okay.
You know, that's shoulder and sweep too. That's a shoulder and sweep. So somewhere around there, something that looks like that.
I want to enter on 50% of the FVG.
Anything above that 50% of the FVG. Above that 50%. Exactly. So the news can spike it all the way there, right? Which is roughly about 50 pips of where price currently is. 50 pips will give you 1.2526. So it can spike up, tap into that, and then when it taps into that, what will it do next? Collapse all the way down. So you can get as much as 1:3, 1:4, all the way down. The low of the week or the low of the previous day, all the way down. Exactly. Where will it go? There's an IOFED.
Yes.
So 50% of that same IOFED. Exactly. So that's a possibility. 50% of that IOFED or 50% of that fair value gap exactly into there. So let's see our risk to reward.
-3.
Something like that. So I don't know if this has helped to Shay. So this is what I'm looking for. Now some can say, oh, there's still a fair value gap to the upside. Why is it not going into that one around 1.2580? Well, because they grabbed the liquidity. So if they already grabbed liquidity, I don't see price reaching into 1.2580 fair value gap. Because if you look at that on two, let's zoom in. You need to know when the fair value gap will not hold. If you look at that on two, there was a grab of liquidity there too. 1.2570. Exactly. You see the fair value gap bar?
Yes.
Can we take a buy? I don't know why you take a buy. Okay, so see the fair value gap. Do you see that there's a slight grab of liquidity too?
Yes.
You can see exactly. There was a slight inducement, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. It may not get there. It has grabbed the liquidity. It was very slight, but it has grabbed it. It has grabbed it. So now my brother is asking that why can't we buy to that level? Where is the external liquidity that was grabbed? So if you want to buy to that level, right, where will we take the buy from? That's the question we ask. If you want to buy to that level, where is the shoulder? Where is the sweep? Where is the fair value gap? Where is the upside down shoulder? Maybe Demola can identify one.
Not seen anyone yet.
It's not very okay. There's a protected low.
This one.
This long pin bar. No. Around the 28th. That long rejection pin bar.
This one, yeah.
Low before it.
For it.
The low before that one. Then the low before that other one. The low before it. That red low.
This one.
Exactly. That's a low now.
It is.
Then that's a sweep. Upside down shoulder there now, Abi.
Yes.
So that can be a protected low. My
Okay,
challenge
to buy from
is,
this region.
what did you say?
To buy from this region, right?
No, not even that region. That region now is equal lows now. You can see the equal lows now. That region you just touched is equal lows.
Yes. Okay. I had this one on it before. I had this markup on it now.
Okay, so is it still valid?
No, price did not tap into it. I was waiting. This was supposed to serve as inducement, like
yes, those two bar.
Liquidity.
Yes.
And just 3 or 4 pips away, price just and then pushed up. So this movement back to this level now can be to violate all of this.
And so I'm asking because Potter said, can we buy? Since we are saying price wants to go up. I'm saying, let's look at the liquidity. That's the only place now.
Yes.
There is no other buy again now. And I'm not seeing fair value gap, except inside that red, this thing, there is a fair value gap there. The protected low.
Okay.
Around 8 a.m. exactly. That candle just move to the right a bit. To the right, not left.
Right.
That long week, yes, that week now, that rejection week. If we go on the higher time frame, is there a fair value gap inside that? That's the question we are on a lower time frame. Is there a fair value gap inside that? That's the only other thing now, Abi.
There's no fair value gap there.
There's no fair
price has started.
So
what's the only one there? Price tapped into it here.
Let's look for a smaller time frame again. Maybe 15, but not below 15. So Potter, it is us really fishing for crumbs. Is there? I can't see anything.
Has been filled.
It has been filled, though, my brother. You take that trade, except there isn't strong correlation. Everything has been filled. So that's one of the trades where you watch price go somewhere and you can't trade it.
That's want to force it. It has been filled.
So, all right. So, has this answered your question? Except that you're using another strategy, but if you are using liquidity concepts, there's no liquidity to grab. All right? So, I hope that has answered the question. Over to you, Demola. So this kind of trade is coconut head that will make you take it and you respect your stop loss. It can go your way, that's the honest truth. But there are not enough confluences. There are not enough confluences. You have your shoulder, you have your sweep. What of your break of structure to the upside? What of your fair value gap? What of your diagonal liquidity? What of your 50% consequent encroachment? There are so many things that are not there. All right? So thank you very much, Demola, for having me. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the wonderful session. All right, guys, before we go, one last reminder. You're coming to Abuja, you should know all of this, you're going to get it live and direct from the boss himself and the rest of the team, right? You're coming, please be prepared. If you need to book or place a request for a leave to your workplace, please do that. You can begin to do that now and then inform people involved so that that day you can have full time for your destiny in this market. Sort it once and for all, right? Thank you so much. We'll convey at 3 o'clock p.m. for New York session, where we see what the market has done, and also we can look out for possible potential trades in this market for tomorrow. All right, guys, that'll be all for today. Please stay safe. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you at 3:30. Apologies, we see you 3 o'clock. I'm trying to look at the question. Fubi said, what of gold XAUD? That'll be tomorrow. today is just focused on commodity and indices. Baba Ali said, "We accommodation be provided." We are sorry about that, but there's no provision for accommodation for now yet, right? We've not yet looked into that. That's why we're bringing the events to Abuja. Abuja is a central area, we believe, so that you won't have to bother about accommodation, right? So there will not be accommodation proof. No, not one for now. Not yet made that provision yet. So that will be all. If you have any other question and any other inquiry about our bot and our course sales, right? You want to enroll for any of our courses, FS Bootcamp, ATM cash flow, you should send a WhatsApp DM to the number that will be displayed in the chat box. 081 60 99 50 30. Send a WhatsApp DM and then you get onboarded for that. And you have question about our bot, also send a DM and somebody is going to join you on the call and we get you onboarded also for that. Thank you so much. We see and we convey at 3 p.m. New York Market Scholar session. Cheers and God bless.